How are y'all? It's getting late, as you can see, and a bit dark around here, but there's a light, and you ain't going to be looking at me anyway, so we're going to add a second material, a second texture to our shader, our material. I just pick a word, Nick. Okay, so we've got our brick tile. We'll call it tile material. I'm still in isometric. And what I would like is to have not all the bricks visible. I want to have some different areas of the building that look a bit more worn. So to do that, we need to add another texture, and then we need something to mask it. So you'll see what I mean when we get going. So Shift A. This time we're going to use a Musgrave because I like it. And then again, take the UV output, whack it into the vector input of the Musgrave, and then Shift A, color ramp. Nope, converter, color ramp. This will be the first time you've used this, and I'll explain it as we go. So plug the height into this, and because you installed Node Wrangler, the add-on that comes with Blender in the edit preferences, if you Control Shift click anything, you will see what it's doing. So if I Control Shift click these, this is showing me what the outputs are doing. If I Control Shift click the bricks, the first one is the color, the second one is the factor, as you know, is black and white information. So Control Shift click gives you a view of what this texture is doing. And the first thing I'm going to do is ramp that up to 15. I'm going to take the dimension down to 0.2, and you'll see straight away what happens. And what I want is some very definite white and very definite black areas, because this is going to be a mask. And again, I'll get to that. I'll get to explaining exactly what I mean by that. But this we'll use for the mask. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add another texture, which will be a noise texture, and we're going to use this one as the other material. And if you Shift D to duplicate the color ramp, and then under this menu, reset color ramp, whack that in there, and take a UV output into there. And if we look at this one, it's exactly the same setup with, so it's not at all, ignore me. So this is the noise texture, and we do need, we need a bit of variation. But this one, I'm going to ramp the scale right up, crack the detail up, and then the roughness, just to make it a bit more bitty. A bit of distortion, just makes it look a bit wavy. No, ignore that. Okay, so, but we're going to make these colors, you know what you can do is, if we want to change the black, you can click this on the color ramp, and we're going to explain the color ramp. Or you can just drag and drop a color from somewhere else. So I want that one, and then if you click the white pip, let me get zoomed in, so click this pip, then you can just drag the second color to there. And actually there, but to make it more obvious, if I crunch this up and bring this up, here you see the noise texture. If you Control Shift click this, it's just black and white. That's all it does, it's just a noise pattern. And what the color ramp does, if you Control Shift click that, is it takes that and turns it into color. So this pip is this color, as you can see, this pip is this color. If I bring these close together, the contrast between them is greater. So they become very sharp edges. The further away they are, you can see it just, you know, it calms down a fair bit. So by bringing it, you're adding more of this color. So you're, you know, you can see the darker outside areas get increased in brightness until it's all just that color. So for this, I think I'd quite like something like that. And I'm going to have a look. Actually, I'm going to bring it down quite a bit to that. Okay. So what I said is we're going to use this as a mask, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So we've got our brick texture up here, which is our first texture, and we've got our noise texture down here, which is going to be the second texture, and this middle texture will be the mask. And what this will do is, well, I'll show you as we get through it. So if you Shift A, go to color, converter, and then mix. Nope. Shift A, I'm sure it was color. Mix color. So color, mix color. And just drop that in the middle there. By the way, if you ever drop a node, you'll see if you want it to be attached to something straight away, it will highlight the wire. You let go, it connects it in the middle. But we don't want to do that because we want this here. So with the mixed color, what time are we on? 6 minutes. We've got an input for A and an input for B. And this will allow you to mix between them. And what we want to do is we want to put the color from the brick texture, and we use that as texture A. And then take the color from the color ramp, because this is black and white, we turned it into color there. And we want to take that from the color and put it in B. And if we control shift click B, we can see both. They're just being mixed half and half. And you can mix, if we go all the way to 1, you're only looking at B. If we go all the way to A, we're only looking at the bricks. So what we want to do is have something that separates these two, which is what this is. Control shift click that. So what this is going to do, I actually want a bit more black, is the areas that are black will show texture A. The areas that are white, these bits, will show texture B. To do that, we plug the color into the factor. And now I look at this as a mask. The same as Photoshop. If anyone uses Photoshop, it's the same thing. Black and white, black being hide, white being display. But in this instance, it's just black being color A, white being color B. So now if we set this to mix, we want them to mix between the two, but we want it to use this as the mask. So if I control shift click the mix, you'll see what I mean. Now we've got a bit of both, and it's all dependent on how much of both will be down to this mask. So if I have less black and more white, hang on, actually let's go the other way. Right, if I just bring the black all the way back, and I'm now showing more, much more of the noise texture than I was before. If we edit the scale of the Musgrave, we'll see it all changing. So it just makes it bigger, and in fact I will make it a bit bigger, maybe a bit less harsh. Just control shift click this. You know what? Click the Musgrave, and because you've got Node Wrangler, press Shift S, and this is going to switch it for a texture and noise texture, I think, and then Control Shift click the color ramp, because we need to add more black to separate these two. Same process. Black will display the bricks, white will display the noise texture. I don't know if I want maybe a bit more scale. Okay. And then if we control shift click the mix, you get this. Let me just go into viewport render mode, or render. Oh yeah. In order to, because what we're doing, it looks horribly flat with no shadow, because we've control shift clicked and we're just viewing this node here. If we control shift click the final point of the chain, we see all of it. And almost done. I will explain why this looks different and why we're not seeing it in the next one, but that's a good place to stop. So we'll finish this and make this look exactly what I'm saying in a bit. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.